What's going on, gamers? So this number could probably go up a little bit more, and it's a possibility that it may go down, but Black Myth Wukong has an 84 Metacritic. Sweet Baby Ink can burn. Yeah, this is the middle finger right to their face. And real gamers know what I'm talking about. They tried to inject their poison into this game, and if y'all didn't know, they tried to extort them for 7 million to put all their nonsense in their game, and they basically told them to F off. Previously, before that, they tried to throw sexual allegation claims. This one dumb bee, but that didn't end up working, and it's a shame that you have sites like Kotaku and IGN that were trying to spread misinformation, and you got people getting in their feelings saying that they're not going to support them because they tried to align them with the stuff that was happening, like in Activision and all those other companies, but it was just manipulation and lies. So yeah, 84 is so good so far. You have to understand, this is like their first game like this. That is really good. What people were fearing was like mid 70s, low 70s, and going before that, but no. Here it is right here, and this is on PC too, y'all. Let's refresh and see if we got some more reviews here. I'm excited just to see 84. And if y'all don't know, this is a mixture of Souls and God of War in a sense. It has great Chinese mythology and background and lore on it. So let's go down and take a look at some of these reviews real quick. God is a Geek. I like that site. Hands down, one of the year's best action games. Black Myth Wukong is a flurry of sublime combat and expert boss design. COG Connected. I'm deep. I'm a deeply time invested Souls player myself. I've beaten every type of Souls like, and Elden Ring recently in that DLC, boy. Let me tell you that was definitely provoking. Trying to get to that DLC was one of the most intense expansions I've ever played. To be honest, it took me a few hours to give up my Souls light expectations, ingrained muscle memory, and to set aside comparisons from software's best. When I did, Black Myth Wukong and its design suddenly made a lot more sense. The biggest disservice to this game would be to come to Black Myth Wukong as an Elden Ring player, for example. But it's also like God of War too. It's not just straight Souls-like. For example, and be disappointed that there aren't quest companions, a warehouse full of weapons, and the ability to explore the beautiful world. I like to look at this game as its own entity mixed with some of those influences as a massively ambitious game made by a relatively small developer. Yeah, they're coming into the industry. Black Myth Wukong could have gone sideways in a dozen different ways. That it didn't is a minor miracle. The game looks incredible, offers deep and engaging combat, and a unique blend of mechanics is even more impressive. Black Myth Wukong takes a very specific approach to the action RPG genre that might not be for every player, but judged on its own merits and self-imposed rules, it's an almost entirely successful and deeply satisfying game to master. If you want to master, not everybody wants to do that. Some people just want that experience. You know what I mean? So it's just really awesome to see this hardcore gamer. I like these guys too. Black Myth Wukong took us by surprise. It had a lot of potential from its initial reveal. Sorry about that. Super excited over here. But what game science has been able to create is nothing short of greatness. This is a visual treat that brings ancient China and Chinese mythology to life like never before, crafting a story that, while somewhat vague, will have you compelled to progress further thanks to its creative presentation values. This is all good. Let's see if we could bring up some more stuff here. So when you go here, it doesn't let you read it. It's almost like how meta is. There's so many people trying to get on right now that you can't see all those other reviews, but we could look at PC games and see. Black Myth Wukong is a journey to the West adaptation I've always wanted. An ambitious action RPG with stunning visuals. Remember, it's an action RPG. Like I said, it has a lot of God of War elements and it has Souls-like elements. So we can't look at it as one or the other with its own, flair on there. And the good thing about this is that we're seeing China come in and actually develop video games that it's not just gotcha. They need to show their strength in the single player department and a multiplayer department and in different categories and departments that are not necessarily gambling aspects. And this is a good example to represent China. And what better game by one of their biggest, historical mythology heroes, Wukong here. Even in Japan, there's stories that love him. Even in the West, we love him. I mean, you can see him in a lot of other games too. Like we talk about League of Legends and stuff. I mean, a lot of people know about Wukong. He's been around for a long time. It's an ancient deity. So it is cool to see that be something that China represents as a strong forefront outside of the gacha market. I'm very happy to see that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can attest to that. And it's a good video game. That's what we want. We want more video games, Not anything interfering. Just let the developers create a damn video game. So I'm very happy about this. Now, he says it has some sluggish camera tracking, restrictive exploration, and early game difficulty spikes that might be a deal breaker for some. If you keep going, you'll get past it though. But all in all, people are saying positive things. I would like to see more reviews, but right now, this is, what's available to us, and it's just good to see that it's in the positive. Back then when a game got a 75, 76, and like the PS2, original Xbox, or even days before that, that was means it's a solid game. So this is a good game. It's not like even on the low 80, it's almost pretty much in the mid between 84 to 85 on the edge. So, and these are on PC too. So yeah, this is awesome, guys. And I'm very glad to see this. Now let's see if there's probably some reviews that actually went live that we could actually read, because I'm pretty sure that's going to start popping up very soon. Okay, they're showing us Game of the Year material. So let's take a look at this real quick and let's see what these guys have to say.
First showcased back in 2020, Black Myth: Wukong took the games industry by storm thanks to its over-the-top action set pieces and gorgeous vistas, two of the biggest factors that have defined action games over the years. With each subsequent showing, the game garnered more hype, but as experience has taught me, it's always better to keep expectations in check. Despite the consistent stream of promising gameplay footage and trailers showing the slick action and beautifully rendered environments, I only ever remained cautiously optimistic. After all, there have been dozens of Souls-likes and action RPGs released every year, and Black Myth: Wukong seemed, on paper, like another product that is trying to capitalize on the genre's popularity. Also, the fact that this was coming from a new studio made me skeptical whether the final product will truly deliver on its promise. But after spending hours with the game, Black Myth: Wukong made me realize that it not only delivers on its initial commitment, but exceeds it by quite some margin. For those who are unaware about the game's setting, Black Myth: Wukong is based on the novel Journey to the West, and I found the story in Black Myth: Wukong to be uncomplicated and will likely be plain sailing for most players out there. Complex storytelling through environments, item descriptions, and NPC behaviors have been hallmarks of the Souls-like series, but Black Myth: Wukong forgoes all of that, instead relies on telling its story in a more conventionally structured fashion.
I don't have a problem with that. That's actually good. Like I said, I don't want an imitation of a Souls game. We've had so many, and then we just had the Elden Ring DLC and all that. They just keep coming. I want something that is going to take a different route, and I don't see that as being negative. I embrace that and welcome that. But I'm trying to decide, do I want to get the PS5 version to get the Platinum, or do I want to get it on PC? Because obviously my PC is way more powerful than my PlayStation. Man, we're going to decide by the end of the day what we're going to be pre-ordering. It just depends on how the Platinum is.
This isn't Elden Ring, where you have to piece together individual threads of lore across the world, but more akin to the storytelling methodologies from classic action games. This isn't a shot against Elden Ring, but I very much prefer my games to be straightforward in terms of their storytelling, and Black Myth: Wukong delivers on that front.
We don't play from software
I'm not
games
at liberty
for story.
to talk about the finer points about the lore here, but what I can say is that the protagonist's journey is appropriately adrenaline-fueled and bombastic. Intricately crafted cutscenes, a surprisingly excellent localization, and some serious dialogue delivery garnished with some comedy here and there made it easy for me to get invested into the story. Black Myth.
And I think that's cool because we're exploring a Chinese story. You don't get that a lot. That's, it's not gacha. And we get environments and creatures that are cool because we're not used to this. We're just used to Japanese and Western Caucasian mythologies and stories. You know what I mean? And religions and all that. But now we get to explore this, and I'm more open to that. That's why I want to see other developers come in the industry too that are working on games too, like India and all that, because it'd just be cool to have that. It's more adventure and more mystery.
Myth: Wukong's martial arts-based combat takes inspiration from a number of contemporaries, but more noticeably from Bloodborne by putting its emphasis on quick dodges and swift attacks. From Software's 2015 game focused on player reaction times heavily, and a lot of that can be seen in Black Myth: Wukong. The difficulty will rise as you progress further into the story, with each enemy type requiring different tactics to defeat them. The core pattern remains the same: attack, dodge, manage stamina, and then attack. Just like Sekiro, which has only one major weapon, Black Myth: Wukong players will also only have access to their trusted staff, which can be upgraded as they progress throughout the game.
That's true to him.
All of this may feel ordinary, but the game manages to make combat more intriguing thanks to its vast set of skills, transformations, and spells.
Yeah, they have a lot of transformations.
As you defeat more enemies, the protagonist will earn experience, which will in turn unlock skill points. These skill points can be used to unlock new staff stances, namely Smash, Pillar, and Thrust. As the name implies, the Smash stance abilities are more focused on taking enemies head-on, while Pillar will allow players to stand on their staff and deliver long-ranged attacks. Meanwhile, the Thrust stance is largely focused on heavy charge attacks. Each of the stances find their use case depending on the type of enemy one is facing and the style that you want to opt for. I invested my points mostly in the Smash stance abilities as I found them pretty simple to pull off, but I'm sure that the more ambitious players out there would like to invest in other stances, as there's some really cool moves that they give access to. Points can also be utilized to improve your overall stamina, martial arts, and survival parameters.
Nice.
As each location brings
So I like what I'm seeing. This looks good. You see what I'm saying? And like I said, if you've been playing games as long as I have since 1994, you know a good game when you see it. You don't necessarily need the reviews to tell you that, but they matter in Western society, and they matter because it says a lot from a critic standpoint, and it affects the game's sales, and it affects other people's purchasing choices. It just does, just the way it works. I don't need it to decide that. I saw a good game that I wanted to get regardless, but we just have to understand the way things work and not just make it only solely subjective about us, but to realize the objectivity of that is that Metacritic matters and it affects the game and it affects people. It's just the way that it works.
along with it its own set of challenges, the game allows you to reset all of the points and set them according to enemy weaknesses. This flexibility is appreciated as I found
Oh,
myself
that's nice.
continuously invested in the skill tree, working overtime to get the right balance. The game
Good.
also features a number of magical spells that can be used, like freezing an enemy, summoning a number of doppelgangers, or even transforming yourself into an enemy's form with special abilities. Most of these spells are time-based, but depending on how many points you've invested in them, you can play around with their longevity or their impact. Overall, the skill system is a lot of fun, and tinkerers will have a field day with it, provided that they manage to progress deep enough through the game systems. Black Myth Wukong's progression mechanics follow the usual action RPG formula. As noted earlier, you
Nothing wrong
earn
with that.
levels, unlock skill points, and
works.
use that to make your character stronger. But besides earning points, players will also procure will, the in-game currency, which can then be used to buy a whole lot of items like medicines and buffs.
So we see it's not shallow. There's so much diversity here. There's depth here. There's adventure here. Fresh adventure, fresh worlds that we just never go through. So all this looks good to me, and I like what I'm seeing. It's a good review. I like the review. But there we have it, y'all. If y'all want to watch more of this, I can link it in my description. Glad to cover this. And yeah, real gamers out there, Sweet Baby Inc. Like, subscribe, y'all. I appreciate that. Trying to get this channel to grow. I'll be streaming all sorts of games on my Twitch, which you can find in my description too, and on my YouTube. So yeah, I got lots of games coming up. Y'all want to be doing this for years. I'm gonna get the new Nintendo console. We're gonna be doing Monster Hunter. We're gonna be doing GTA. We're gonna be doing all types of great games. Silent Hill around the corner. You know what I mean? And a lot of other good games. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I mean, I'm gonna be there. All right. Peace out, y'all. Y'all have a great day.